Yeah.
Wendy.
Yep. Oh, Michael. Michael's so I have that's great. Yeah. They need it or not.
Careful, guys. Come on.
Yes, come grab some seats, guys.
How many people get in your seats? I'm not sure who that was. Okay, there it is. First of all, everybody looks sharp tonight. You guys look nice. You know, leadership to lead more often, so I'm gonna dress up. Wow. Okay. Who has a guest tonight? Stand up. I'm standing. Keep standing up.
Who had 5 guests tonight?
Who did?
5.
Five? Oh.
5.
Okay, cool. I like that.
Nice.
Okay, how many of you were in the field last week telling the story of our company? Stand up. Standing. And if that led to a next step, stay standing. Yay! All right. And how many of you signed up for your licensing class? Securities or life? I know Kim's going to be taking her test real quick. Anyone else? Life? No? Okay. Do you have anyone who's newly certified, qualified, or validated on any of these? Whatever your name is. Get on some appointments. You got to get validated over here. And then who is signed up for the next big event in Nashville? What's up with that? I tried to catch Rachel with my card. I'm going. Okay, I think that's it.
All right, thanks, Wendy.
You're welcome.
So event in Nashville. Who knows what we're talking about? Who was at the Wealth Bowl last January? Okay. All right. So Henny, can you come and talk a little bit about the Wealth Bowl? How it impacted you last January? I know it's in California, this one is in Tennessee. Could you come up quickly and just talk about that? I know you'd love to put on the spot.
Really good.
You're good.
I know.
You're good.
So what these events are, just like, any corporation has.
A couple of these.
So you guys want to make sure you're at all of these events. We have our event in Las Vegas every August, or sometimes it's in July. And then we have our events usually in California, but now we're transitioning to Tennessee. Can you share a little about the event?
Yeah, you'll always hear that, people that are successful here will tell you never miss a big event. And there's a reason why. Not because, they get anything out of it, it's because they care about you. Okay, so every time I go to a big event, it's always a struggle pursuing life. Money-wise, time, I have 4 kids, I got a husband, I like and work, and it's always hard to make it work, but I know I will never miss one. So you always just get the ticket, everything will fall into place, and it's happened so many times, time and time again. Every time I'm like, I have no idea how this is gonna work, but pray about it, you work it out, and you really tap into your resources, and things just fall into place, make it work, and you'll notice that because events like this is very crucial to your success here. If you
What has it done for you personally?
Yeah, I think it's shown me that there's more in me because I took this challenge. Forces around you will try to hold you back or get you to not go, but you set your sight on that and you go, and it really stretches your vision and really stretches your capacity, and I think that's how I keep progressing each time.
Good. Well, thanks. So basically, the big events are to grow you as a person, right? Like for me, when I went to my first big event, I didn't know anything about this company. I thought the event would be just all about financial products and all of that, which would be kind of boring, which is not that at all. It's very inspirational. It's very you get to talk with some of the top leaders in our company who are earning millions of dollars a year. I don't know how many times you cross paths and have a one-on-one conversation with someone who's earning $14 million a year. There's a guy, actually, the reason why we're switching over to Tennessee, his name's Rob Day. We're part of his organization out in Tennessee, but he had us in his hotel room, our whole team in Las Vegas in his hotel room, this past convention, and he was just kind of just hanging out talking with us. He hasn't worked one day in the last 11 years, and he's been paid over $4 million a year. And he hasn't worked one day. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
He overrides Eric Olson, who's the MVP of our company. So anyway, thanks for sharing that, Henny. It's really important, even for the newest person. When I was brand new, it was like the next month was the Wealth Bowl. And I mean, at least we have till January. We still have a few months. And I was like, oh, it's not for me. But then Mark's like, no, it's definitely for you. Most brand new person on our team, we want to be at these events. So thanks for sharing that, Henny. So what I thought we would do tonight is skip training, and I bought a bunch of Post-it notes so we could just put them all over Rachel and Mark. Just kidding. Yeah, then we were thinking about getting little water cups and putting them all over Quentin's office on the floor. In Dan's office, and then who we blame it on? We all blame it on Ken. Ken did that.
Feel the love. Feel the love.
So anyway, okay. So if you're in orientation, amazing Vicki Chase is going to do orientation for you tonight. So you can follow her in the back room. You guys can head over there now. All right.
All right. Guys, I've done orientation. I'm in training now. It's okay. You need more elbows.
All right. So I'm going to be doing my minor portion of training tonight. Melanie's going to be doing the majority of it, but I'm going to start off. Okay. What I wanted to start off with was what we expect and what's reality, right? So this is how we expect not just business but just life in general to be like this, right? Straight up, just like always cruising upwards, right? But really, what it is it's like this, right? They're like, you know, that's really what it is, right? So not only just in business, but in just life in general, right? You just have curveballs come at you, and you're like, how do I deal with this? And naturally, as humans, we want to avoid pain, but we want pleasure, and we don't want success, but we don't want sacrifice, or we don't want we don't want setbacks or anything like that, right? So what I was thinking about tonight, which is kind of going to go into what Melanie's doing, is I think it's important to actually, in any area of life, especially business, welcome setbacks, welcome the struggle, because without struggle, there's no growth, right?
Yeah.
I just saw this commercial, I think it was Microsoft or something else, and it was talking about no one wants problems, but we want all the problems, because that just makes us that much better, right? If there were no problems and everything went really well, then imagine how easy life would be and how boring it would be, right? I mean, obviously we don't want any of our family members to get sick, or we don't want people to, I don't know, just a bunch of different struggles you can think about, different struggles, right? But in this business specifically, I wanted to encourage you guys, because everyone in here comes from a different work background other than the financial industry, including myself. So when I first started, it was a bit of a struggle in just learning new things. Like I was in YWAM for 7 years. I got a pretty good routine. I know I've shared this a few times, but my day was go to work at 9:30, be done by 3:30, and then beach from 3:30 to about 6. And then I was amazing. That was my life in Australia for about. Well, I did mission trips and stuff like that too, but that was my schedule. So when I came back here, looking to get in the financial industry, I was like, I wasn't expecting it to be like that. So just the fact of learning how to stretch myself a little bit more was difficult. But I really want to encourage you guys, especially maybe some newer people that are in here. This is probably a little bit uncomfortable what you're doing, right? If it's not uncomfortable, then I'm a little worried. I hope it's a little bit uncomfortable for you, because when you're uncomfortable, that's when you grow the most. And for me, what I've realized is the things that I feared the most never happen. 95% of the things I feared the most actually never happen. And so thinking about, starting your career here, or if you've been here 2 years, 3 years, or 50 years like Sally. Just kidding.
He's on a roll tonight.
Dude, trying to get her. Should I just call in now? Is she watching?
Like, ask yourself, am I growing, or am I getting into a comfort zone? Because I feel like in any area of life, it's easy to get comfortable. Like even in Australia, I was like really comfortable, even though I was sponsored. Like, it's not salary, it's sponsorship when you're in missions. Like I was literally sponsored with $1,000 a month, living in one of the most expensive countries in the world. But I always had more than enough. So I just want to encourage you guys to welcome the struggle, okay, and then do everything you can to get out of your comfort zone. I'm so glad I did in this company, because once I did, I realized, oh my gosh, like this is not as bad as it was. The people in this specific office and the company alone are really good people. We have our best interests for everyone in this room. So think about the job that you're currently in, or because how many here are part-time? Okay. So how many of you guys were on the conference call this past Friday with Christopher Schleiman? Okay. So we need to get more of you guys on the conference call. So Christopher Schleiman, one of the things he asks is, if you're at your job, is this something? Well, first off, think about this. Are you where you thought you'd be in your life, in success, and how much you're being paid right now? Are you where you thought you'd be, starting like maybe as in your 20s? Everyone probably thought maybe I'd be a little bit more ahead, or a little bit more successful. So this, you know, and then thinking about your job, is that something that you really want to be? Is that just a job or is that a career? Right. So the nice thing about this is a career, and it's something that everyone in here can really establish. That's why it's also important to go to conventions, because you'll see people like just like yourselves, and you'll connect to someone and be like, oh, that person can win in this company. I can definitely win, right? Like some of you guys went to a convention in Vegas, half the people on the stage can hardly even speak English properly. Right? So it's like, so our business is actually very simple. What's not as simple is what's in between your head, right? Your thoughts, right? So if you get your thoughts right, you'll do very well here. And just believing in yourself. I know for me, I had a really, when I first started, I didn't believe in myself. I was like, you know, I'm so used to what I'm doing before, so I had to borrow other people's belief in myself. I had to say, Mark, maybe, you know, this is a little different than what I was doing. Can you help me out? Your perspective. He's like, oh yeah, I was an aircraft mechanic. I didn't like talking with people. I liked talking to engines. And so that, like, you know, him personally, he grew a lot in this company. So this company, as you guys have heard, is what is it? What is it? The self-improvement program with a high compensation package. With a good compensation package. Even the people that I've trained and aren't in the company today, I still have conversations with, I'll still hang out with, and they say, hey, my 3 months, my 2 years, 3 years within your company has made me a better person today than I was before. Just hanging out with the right people. Associations is everything, and you are the people that you hang out with in the books or the books you read or listen to, right? So really think about that. If you want to change your association and change, you know, where you're at, think about who are you hanging out with? Who are your closest friends? If they're not where you want to be, maybe they're great people, but maybe you need to make some new friends here in the company. So I wanted to start off with that. You know, there's no, I've written on the board before, but the guy, the Hewitt guy, he's like, he's good with memory, but he said, people who do the easy things life becomes really hard. But people who do the hard things in life becomes easy. So really, the next time you feel a little bit uncomfortable, just honestly, just lean into that. Like, go for it. Just jump into it, and then it's like, who here has gone cliff jumping before? Only like me and Alan? Okay, Sean too. No one else has literally been cliff jumping? Not like onto ground and die, but like so water.
But I don't know.
Okay. So in Australia, there was this, I think there's 50 or 75 foot cliff we were jumping off of, but it is like literally terrifying. But once you jump off and like you're like flying through the air, it's just exhilarating. It feels amazing. And you're down, you're like, oh, I can do that a million times more. So I'm going up. I highly encourage you guys to put jumping. But
Get your life insurance first.
Jumping games are over.
But don't tell us.
Yeah, don't tell us you're gonna go cliff jumping.
that's not on the application. That's what it says skydiving. So.
It says base jumping on it, and that does technically qualify.
Yeah. All right. So that's pretty much all I had. Is just really encouraging you guys to, you know, get uncomfortable. Don't expect things to be easy here. If you're expecting it to be like this, it's going to be really like not fun. It's going to be a little disappointing. But if you're expecting, hey, just think of it like a game. You know, I'm just going to come and play this game, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Have fun doing it, right? So with that being said, I'm going to have Melanie come up. Melanie's going to talk a little bit about focus and distractions. So who in here ever gets distracted? Right? Who in here is like really good with focus? If you are, raise your hand. Okay. So Cameron, okay, I am too. Yeah. So I don't have a hard time focusing. I don't get distracted that easily. But
It's gonna change more with your child.
Yes, a little bit, yeah, maybe a lot. So, but Melanie's really going to cover some things that are important about focusing, especially in this business or in any area of life. So I'll hand it over to Melanie. Melanie.
So, this is an area that I have struggled with. So I don't want you to think that, oh, Melanie's got it all together. No, I don't. And probably, if you become a student of the things that you struggle in, that's where you need to improve. And that's where you can make your greatest contribution is through your weaknesses, not always through your strengths. So you're always looking to improve in the areas that you struggle in. That's where you can help others. You can relate to them, and they can relate to you in what you're dealing with. So actually, I want to start off in before we dive into the focus piece of it. I want to think about what do you think you need to really be successful? What are some key components to being really successful? What do you think?
Yourself.
Consistency.
Vision, consistency, drive,
Positive attitude.
mindsets,
It starts with self.
system, vision. Would you say self? Start with yourself. Anything else? Vision.
Communication.
And you're in a communication industry. Okay. Anything else? Great answers. Love that list. One thing that's a lot of times people think of is they need the right kind of knowledge, right? Of products, and in order to be successful, you got to know what you're talking about. Consistency, commitments. This is kind of the discipline. It kind of falls under that kind of category as
Motivation.
well. Huh?
Motivation.
Right? Drive,
Enthusiasm.
motivation. You need the right opportunity. And I think in today's day and age, some of these things are really not that as critical as we would think. So for example, the knowledge, the communication, even some of these tools are really what's more important even than some of this. Kind of tends to focus around here is we need character, kind of our conduct, right? How do we carry ourselves? How do we hold ourselves? Do we communicate with confidence? Do we know how to communicate with confidence about what we're talking about who we are? Integrity, honesty, these values that are really critical to being successful. This idea of self, that we need to more self-management.
Self-worth.
Yeah, in especially when we talk about the consistency and commitment areas, it's about not so much managing things around me as it is managing me. What's going on internally, and how I am setting myself up for success, or I'm setting myself up for failure because I'm not managing myself very well. Mindset, belief, and emotion, right? Emotion is emotion, so it puts you into motion. So the right set of belief system, what I believe about myself, my circumstances, about my opportunity, my ability to accomplish, to reach goals, all of that's going to play into my belief system and my emotions. I think as women as a woman in business, you know, that I probably tap into that probably more frequently than some of you guys do, but that can be a huge part of what drives me, right? It keeps me motivated, and I have to understand what's going on with me in order to be effective in dealing with some of those factors. If I try to ignore this and just try to be committed, just try to be consistent, just deal with the outside actions, and I never tap into what's going on here, then I'm just going to run myself into the ground, you know. So we really got to be more aware of who we are as individuals in that process. The great battle is not man against the world, but man against the self. My fight is not out there. My fight is in here. So we are inherently more lazy in who we are, right? We make excuses by focusing on tech rather than focusing on character. We want to find the solution out there. We want to try to find the specific marketing strategy that's going to make everything run. We want to find the right system that's going to get everything going in the right direction. When really the thing that's hindering more than anything else is what's going on inside. My belief system, my willingness to be coachable, to be teachable, to be trained, my willingness to be held accountable for the things that I'm trying to accomplish, right? And my belief that is everybody against me or is everybody for me? Is my team, my leadership, are they working on my behalf to help me, or are they always opposing me? So if I feel that they're opposing me, I'm going to hide. If I feel like they're for me, I'm going to be more transparent and coachable and teachable and work with them on those things. Okay? So we shouldn't be seeking a better app or a better method. Instead, seek a better skill aptitude. Knowing who you are, knowing what beliefs are going on, knowing the character that you need to develop and that translates into conduct is more important than knowing any other skill set. Because all of that will come with the right character. And I say all that because as I've worked through my own issues, that it's the character of being on time for a meeting. It's the character of being consistent with what I say I'm going to do, that I do it. Okay, having integrity with how I carry myself and what I do, and how I communicate with others, how I receive criticism, which is not very easy to do. There is one recommend that Mark was doing with me, and he was reviewing, how well I was doing, and this is like about the third or fourth time I think that he was doing something with me, and I was really hopeful that I was going to get validated on this appointment, and it just went south really quick, and it just was not pretty. So Mark's writing all this stuff down, and he's going over it with me, and I'm practically in tears in his review, and so he's like, so would you like a copy of this? Here we are. I'm sure you're about to review this later, that shining moment.
I totally air high five.
That's right.
That's what you're saying.
I think, was out working with Laura with some of her horses. And one of the things I took away from that time with her and learning how horses respond, that there's really two kinds of stress responses that we can have when we're trying to work through the difficulties of learning the business and learning the struggle that Evan was talking about. One is we can become internal processors. And our tendency with that is we withdraw and we slow down and we don't want to move. And so we need someone to kind of poke us and help us get moving in a positive direction. And then others of us are more external processors, and we just start going and just throwing stuff up on the wall and shooting at everything that moves, because that's how others process stress, and so both of those need. That's when we need structure and we need accountability to help us to either to be focused in the right direction and make sure that we're making positive strides in those areas. Basically, and that just helps us to stay the course and finish the race. Right? There's so much, as Evan was drawing, how things go. We can all get off on one way or another and thinking that this is the greatest thing to go do or to see or to accomplish or connect with. And some of those are great ideas. But there is a course that has been worn and tried and true. And so become a master. Learn from the masters. How have they worked that process? And you'll just benefit from that. Does that mean that there aren't other things to do aside from that? Yes, you can have great ideas, but learn the basics. Learn the core approach to business from your trainers. They've got a lot of experience and wisdom to communicate, and so that will really help you in that process. We are basically emotionally immature. We have a lot to learn about just taking correction, taking instruction, and following a proven system, right? That's what we talk about in the corporate overview, as a willingness to follow a proven business system. And there's a proven business system here that to learn from. So we don't manage time. We have to learn how to manage our emotions. It's why we need mechanisms, a structure, routine, so that we can eliminate choice and eliminate the emotion out of the situation. So if I've got, if I'm trying to learn consistency and commitment and build greater character in my life, then I need a good solid system to help me do that. That helps me to know that, okay, today this is what I'm doing. This is what I need to focus on. If I have a system in place, then and a routine, it eliminates the choice I have to make. If I have to reinvent every system that I'm trying to incorporate, there's a plethora of choices I have to make or have to sift through. But when the system is in front of me, and there's a routine about what to do, that helps me to be able to focus and to run that race, right? It's the track that we run on, and learn that track and how that works, so that you can run faster and faster and faster with that. Okay? So we all have great intentions.
And we're hoping that those intentions will result in something. Will get us to those results that we want. We set goals of what we want to accomplish and how we want to, we want our lives to look like. You know, I want to get to MD. I want to get to SA. I want to help 4 families every month. You know, but what we fail to do is mind the gap. What is it that sabotages my ability to go from my intention to the result? Okay? And if I don't understand what's in this gap, then I'm going to consistently be frustrated because I'm not going to get the results that I'm looking for. Right? All right. So let's, and I think this gap here really has to do a lot with focus. So this is where I'm coming back down to focus. How do we get there? What are the issues that we need to deal with here? So I want you to do write out one goal that if you already know it. Think about one goal that you would like to accomplish before the end of the year, say, or even in the week. What is an intention or a goal that you have, a result that you're looking for, and just write that. Take a few minutes and just write one down, just one. Just write one goal down. Because you achieve what you focus on, and if you can't focus, you won't be able to achieve that. You just won't be able to do it. You know, if you're too distracted with everything else going on in life, you're just not going to be able to be around. So let's look at specifically at. So I want you to keep that in mind as you've written that down. You can continue to finish that. But think about what are the significant contributors to your ability to focus. An object in motion stays in motion. An object at rest stays at rest unless it's met by an equal opposite of force, or an unbalanced force. Unless acted upon by an unbalanced force is the technical law that is stated. So we are people of habit. And so when you come into this business, all of a sudden now you've got to learn a different sets of habits and different routines, and you've got to incorporate a new routine into what's going on in your life. And that can unbalance other things that are going on in your life in that process. And even just knowing what you need to do. I know I need to pick up this phone and I need to make a phone call. Okay? And I don't know if you've ever seen some dogs. I think that a friend of mine had a quiche hound. And that quiche hound was circle, 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 circle. I just lie down before it would actually lie down. Okay? And sometimes I do that over making a phone call or doing what I need to do for this business. You know, I have to circle and circle and circle. And maybe there's a routine associated with that kind of helps break me out of one routine and gets me moving in a positive direction with what I need to do with this business. Okay? So keep that in mind as you're trying to shift gears from coming out of a full-time job and now doing something here. What are the opportunities I have to kind of shift? What are some things that I can do to help reset my frame of mind and my focus to what I'm doing here? Okay. So I'm going to write down some about 5 different areas that I want us to kind of think of in terms of how this can help us accomplish that. First is a time frame, and that's about a 90 minutes. You have that 90-minute window where you can
say, this is my focus time, where I'm going to do this task for this particular business. Okay? An hour and a half, not a lot of time. Even if you get off at 5, get here by 5:30, you're out of here by 7. Right? Hour and a half. Still got time to tuck the kids in bed or do some other things that you need to do. And so within that time frame, how do I maximize that window of opportunity that I have? Because I've got to be able to make sure that that 90 minutes is as productive and effective as it possibly can be for me. Okay? So here's some things to consider to do that. 2 is remove the distraction. Think of this as, what is your kryptonite? What is it that is going to drain your energy and make you really weak in being able to do a task? Is it phone notifications? Your phone is going up all the time. Is it knocks on the door? Internal distractions. A list of to-do things that I need to get done. Is there a way I can, make a list? Okay, now I've got it out of my head. It's on a piece of paper or it's on a note on my phone, and it's done. And now I can go back and concentrate and focus on that. Have I prepped sufficiently for the success of this time? Maybe the going out and getting business cards or looking on LinkedIn and talking to people is giving me a list of numbers that I can now call in that 90-minute window of time. So what have I done to prep so that I can be effective with that? Any other distractions that you can think of that might fall under this category, that distractions that you found that you needed to remove? Yeah, people coming to talk to you. Huh? People talking to you. People talking to you. Okay. And how do you deal with that? Politely remove yourself from the room. Politely remove yourself from the room. And hide in your car. I continue such phone calls. And sometimes it's a matter of where you choose to do this 90 minutes, right? Have you chosen a place that would give you that freedom from distraction? Maybe going to the library is the best place to go. Sometimes the office is not the best place to go, right? So being wise in your choices of, I've got to make this 90 minutes work for me. I've got goals, I've got results that are riding on that 90 minutes. And if I don't maximize that time, I'm not going to get to my result that I want. So removing distractions is an important part there. Okay. Next is recharging. Okay. Am I physically, emotionally, and mentally prepared for what I need to do during that 90-minute window? Maybe that's a part of, I've read my affirmations before I started into that, about what I'm accomplishing and what I'm looking for in those results and what I believe I'm going to achieve through that. Maybe it's taking a quick powered 20-minute nap. Mark catches me going out the back door, taking my 20-minute nap. And he's like, was it nappy time? When I come back, I'm recharged and I'm ready to jump back into something. But if I can feel sitting at my desk, after a number of things have happened, and I know the next thing I need to do is to make some phone calls, and it's like my energy level is just like, I can't think. It's like, all right, I need to go recharge for 20 minutes. Give me 20 minutes to just lay back in my car and close my eyes and just let the weight of the world drift away, and it recharges me enough so I can come back in and push through the next 90 minutes to get what I need done. If I don't do that, it takes me 2-3 times as long to accomplish the same amount of stuff. So don't be afraid to take it out. Do it just to break, from one routine to the next. So it's like one example that I was given was like some of our, like the basketball players especially, pro basketball players, and they're running around, and then there's a foul call, and they've got to come and settle themselves at this free throw line, right? And they get into a certain routine. 3 bounces, boom, shoot, it's a routine. And they have to go through that same motion and that same routine. If they break that, they don't get the same results. And so they learn, this is what I need to do in order to get the result I need. So if there's a routine that you need to do, I get my, Quentin has a bit of this, is I can get my glass of water, I go to the bathroom, and, I clear my desk, all right, creating some of that routine as you head into that 90-minute window can help reset your frame of mind to what you need to do next. Stand up or sit down, create an option where you can either stand up at a desk, you can do that. If you need to sit down at a desk, you can do that as well.
Second.
Second bell. Okay. So got a couple more ideas here, but why don't we wait for whoever needs to go do that. There's too many more people. Kim, do you want to get
Yeah.
where right? Schedule up.
Sunday, I would do what you study. It was gone. You think what would happen? So I can have another money study. I'll be done by then. I did go ahead and read through all those chapters. The only one I have was stuff, writers. But I got all the other ones. But it discouraged me. I don't have to. I'm not at I'm like, study a little bit more. And I'm going to start taking the 2-hour test. I'll text you because I went through yesterday. I counted all of the chapters. And I said, what time you gotta do? I'm like, really? Shitty.
Okay, yeah, well, you are. Now,
My kids are great. Their parents not so much. Really awesome.
Yeah, so up and down. That roll of the thing is strong.
I have a lot of going through a lot of really bad things. So it's like
As a kids.
well, you don't know how bad like your life is right now. You can't do separation.
Yeah.
And then
I still have to respect things around
things that like your expectations, but be
standing at the same time.
And then like
It's hard to find balance.
and I have the most no-shows that I ever had. From my parents. And so We send them a sign up sheet. We sign up for their top 3 times. Schedule them. We try and schedule them their first time. We send them a confirmation 8 to 10 days, send it that time. They don't show up. And when they don't show, you have, even if it's your last conference, you have to wait 20 minutes just in case it's late. And then you have to keep making appointments until they show.
Really?
For the first quarter. For a Title I school, so we have to really try and get them there. So I had 6 shows this year. 2 years. And that's what I tried to do. 4. Yeah.
First day, only like
I had a guy.
Yeah. Another district, everyone. And if they didn't have it, they'd be asking for it.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's fine.
And then if you sketch them, they don't come, then all of a sudden we do. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's always waiting for somebody else.
One, it's really bad, so you try and like, and it's funny, 3 of my parents, 3 of them that didn't show. At the beginning of the year, they were like trying to be on top of me. I'm like, I'm doing my job. Like, but they were basically giving their child excuses for why things aren't getting done.
Yeah.
And so we huddled it out and it was fine. But now those are the 3. Really? You're gonna do that and then you're not gonna show up?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the only option to help you.
I feel sorry for you nowadays. I mean, they don't have the upper hand like they used to. They have no power.
Well, and right now, like, behaviors are just off the wall. Luckily this year I really like decent behavior. The last year I had desks thrown at me, papers thrown at me, iPads thrown at me, and I'm
They don't
fourth
pay you
grade.
enough for that.
I'm fourth grade.
That's 4th grade. Yeah, right. I'm there with you.
When we had about 5 this year.
Oh.
Everything that a lot of these things are dealing with are often not like things like, yeah, I'm sure people used to go through that too, like that. But
They
it's
can.
worse. Like it's more common than it was. I know it used to happen, but I think it's more common. And the poor kids, like you're trying to process all of their emotions and they don't know how to do it because they don't have a healthy way to process emotions because they've never learned how to process emotions. So then that's our job to teach them. And now it's like I have some apparent givers for consequences for harm. Finally, I told them, and I got permission from them as well. Like I'm frustrated, like you've been busy and tired. So you tell them you are either going to work or I am. And that's what having to go. So you decide how you want that to play out. Right. And it's just as something. It's not. I love my job, but it's like the main that's like great. I can't like comprehend what my day was. It says every child is sleepy and I don't know regulation.
Actually, I'm not already. Yes.
Like she's like off of but I make sure. Okay.
All right, so
Yeah.
Trinity and I were talking at the break, just again about the things to recharge, and just really reiterated for me that it's that routine, that if you get into a good routine, that helps you to be consistent. That's been the thing that has helped Evan be as consistent as he is he has a really solid routine that he sticks to and he doesn't divert from. All right. My problem is I try to get into a routine, but I keep changing. It doesn't work that way. You gotta, there's value in finding a routine and being able to stick to that, holding yourself accountable, allowing other people to hold you accountable to that routine. The more you can do that, the better results you're going to get. Why does Evan get such great results? Because he's so consistent. Why is he consistent? Because he's got a routine that he follows and he sticks to, right? So everybody's going to struggle with that to one degree or another, but that's something that would really help in a focus process to get the results you want. Okay, so after recharging, you may need to reorganize.
Well,
Okay, and what needs to shift, be reduced, or eliminated from your life in order to allow you to have a 90-minute focus time? Okay. Do you need to downsize? When I was really realizing that this is what I needed to be doing, I moved my mom down to Phoenix. We moved out of our house that we were renting, and I moved into renting a room from a friend, because this is what I wanted to be doing. I downsized to give myself the freedom to be able to do that and relieve some of the pressure that I was under. If I was trying to keep all these things spinning, and everything going, and then you want to be successful with this, and you're still trying to do all of these things, it's not going to happen. I think of like the daytime Mandy have done, and selling properties up in Woodland Park, moving back down to Colorado Springs from Woodland Park. They've made major changes to their lifestyle to allow themselves the time and freedom and stress relief to be able to do this, right? So, not everybody's decision will be that radical like Daytri's and mine. But you've got to seriously take a look at reorganizing in your lifestyle and in your life what needs to change, be eliminated, be downsized, be shifted in order to give you 90 minutes of focused time to do what needs to be done here. Okay? And you've got to seriously take a look at what that is. And thinking that it's not going to be for the rest of your life, 3-5 years, like Bob Day, you give it a good amount of time and you give it all you've got to do that, 90 minutes out of your day to be really focused, man, you could be so productive. You could get so many results just with 90 minutes of time every single day. You have no idea what you can accomplish with a focused amount of time of just 90 minutes. Be intentional with your time also in reorganizing. So when we have lots of time, we tend to fill up that time. We think, but I want to be available for my family. Okay, be focused on that time instead of just letting it happen whenever, and just want to be available. You want time with kids, you want time with a spouse, you want time for something that's really important to you. Carve that out. Carve another 90 minutes out for that, so that you can have 90 minutes here. What if you had focused an hour and a half, 90 minutes with your kids? Would that be so much better than the just daily grind of them doing whatever, hanging out, that doesn't really accomplish anything, and there's no really real communication going on. If you had 90 minutes of real intentional time with them, wouldn't that be much more valuable than all the wasted hours that you spend, right? So reorganization of your time is really important. You can be much more efficient with what you've got if you know where you need to be focusing your time on. Okay, last point here is refueling. So by refueling, I mean, what are you doing to fill yourself back up? Because working, relationships, all of this takes from us. And so you've got to have planned time to refuel. And that can come from a number of things. One is that you need to have some planned vacation times, and they can be just small, weekend vacation getaways, but a time that you can really refuel for the purpose of being able to refocus on that 90 minutes. Okay. Some of it's through what you're taking in, podcasts, books, events. That's a big piece of why we say go to every event, because it's a refueling time for you. You get reset to what am I doing, and how is this going to meet my goals and my dreams, and is this possible? And you get beat up by all the ups and downs and arounds that Evan was drawing out. It's not that straight line. What do you mean it's not that straight line? I was hard. You get discouraged in all of that. You need that time to say, yes, it's possible. Yes, you can do that. People speaking into your life, the affiliations that you have, all of that is a refueling opportunity for people speaking into your life. Any other thoughts from others? So this is my 5 points that I had. Any other things that you found that might fit within this, or maybe falls into another category that has been really helpful for you in being able to maximize, a focused amount of time, like 90 minutes?
I have to not just carve out, like say, okay, I'm going to have 90 minutes or whatever it is. For me, it's set the boundaries for everyone around me. It's like you're saying, it's a distraction, but it's my family. So when I first started here, they were used to my other schedules and me being kind of at their beck and call. So what I did was I gave myself permission to block off 2 hours on the calendar every single day, and they know that during those 2 hours I can't do anything for them. I can't get them if they're barking at school. They're going to have to wait in the nurse's office until I can get there. It's only 2 hours. No one's going to die. So, like, even my husband, he had the hardest time respecting that boundary of anyone in our whole family. He would call, he would walk into the office, I'm like, no. And finally they're getting it. But that was really hard for me, because I wanted to be there for everything they needed. And the truth is, most of what they need can wait.
Yeah. That's true. Good. Very good. Yeah, thanks, Matt.
I was saying a lot of folks I know I had a hard time actually doing something like this. And so I think it'd probably be of value to find somebody to hold you accountable to it. To help you along until you actually have it down pat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody that you can go to when everything seems to be going wrong and say, okay, why is it going wrong? And help you to redirect not only your actions, but your mindset. Because I think sometimes we get bogged down with the grind and we don't feel, I think for me personally, I don't feel like I'm getting results like I should. And so I get discouraged and I have to go to somebody. Somebody who can give me perspective in a way that makes me take a step back and say, okay, this is supposed to happen. Sometimes refocus, redirect, move on.
Yeah.
And people here, there's somebody for everybody that you can go to. You just have to find that person.
Yeah. It really is. It really is. You can find somebody you can relate to who can help you through that process. And don't be afraid to seek them out and allow them to hold you accountable for that. I think because they want to. We all want to see everybody be extremely successful in this business. We're invested in each and every one of you, to accomplish that. So in closing, as you look back at that one goal that I had you write down, I want you to write down 3 action steps based on this, that would help you to mind that gap. What could you do in this next week that you could change or alter that would make a difference between the intention and the results that you want? So think about 3 action steps you could take to accomplish that. All right.
All right. We should have Melanie do training for us.
Yeah. Yes, that was great.
Yeah, and hearing from Melanie, she made more than 10 grand last month. So that's pretty good, right?
All right.
Coming from like aquaponics and like I don't know what else you did, IT or something, but like that's pretty cool. That's really cool. So I recruited you, so now you're not on my team anymore. All right, so thanks, Molly. So I'm gonna go results. So Ken Rivera had Blair here coming back tomorrow at 4:30. So give Ken a hand. So Ann had Ken Snyder here, who is coming back Thursday at 10 o'clock. So give Ann a hand. Ann has like guests every night. Yeah, you're doing great. So I had Maguette here, and he's coming back Saturday at 12:30. So then Wendy had 4 guests. So Asia's coming back Thursday at 12:30. Yeah, good Wendy. You want to wait till the end? Okay. So Luke Johnson, who's another fellow YWAM, which is cool. He's coming back tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Michael Bott's coming back 2 o'clock tomorrow. And Hunter's coming back 5 o'clock tomorrow. So it looks like I got So
Andy's guest, Kevin, is already in the process of being a client, and
Oh, cool.
he's here to support. So
Yeah.
Right, Andy.
Good job, Andy. Yeah, so guys, really apply these things. I think this can apply to any area in life, but really try and apply to your business too. Okay. So, so we're still running Thursdays, corporate overview. Then we also have Saturday as well. I think we should be back by Saturday. But if you can be on these interviews, make sure if you can, make sure you are. But any other announcements? Okay, we had fun time at Ronald McDonald House. How many people were there? Like
17.
17.
It's like the largest volunteer group.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I think we should totally do that again. That was a blast.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's like a
No
beautiful,
cutting your
brand new
finger.
facility. I know I cut my finger.
On a bean can.
I know, like literally, I
And then
opened the
somebody
bean
gave him a knife.
Yeah.
So,
Did you cut anybody else, or was
No,
it
just
yourself?
yeah. All right, guys. Well, have a good night. Look at us. We're ending at 8:09.
Good job.
Maybe I should make it like a Friday.